Hello, everybody. You've been listening to some pre-talk, small talk that can't really happen in a backstage because we don't really have a backstage right now. So I'm very pleased to introduce you again, actually, Tim from Ekkodale. And Ekkodale has been a staunch believer in Speckle since the 1.0 days, and they've built plenty of applications and experiments using Speckle, for which it made us proud, and it also helped make Speckle a better open source project. And with Tim today, we have Manuel from Dendrit Software, which company they basically they cover all calculations required in building services, and they do this, if I'm correct, since 1988, so just a year after I was born. Which gives you a sense of the experience involved here. That's it from me. I'll leave it now up to Tim and Manuel to introduce themselves and give you their talk about enriching your digital twin with product data.
Yeah, thanks, Dimitri. And welcome from Germany. I'm sitting in Wiesbaden today. Manuel a little bit more in the south. Yeah, and welcome to our session topic today. We will focus on product data stuff around this fantastic digital twin topic. And yeah, I'm very happy to have a session together with Manuel. It's first time, if I'm right, doing a session really together. Yeah, and if there are any questions, drop it in the chat so we can answer it in between. And yeah, screen sharing seems to work if I'm right.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, what we planned for today. General overview about product data a little bit and BIM objects and stuff like that. So what we think about that. And then we show some use cases. Maybe how the topic from generic to product specific in BIM or digital twin projects can be done better. Not in the future, already now. And then it's up to you for your question. It's hopefully our answers to your questions. We do our very best. So yeah, let me start first to Ekkodale. Not so old like Dendrit. Furious younger, started in 1904 as cut development, and last year we re-polished everything, and now we are Ekkodale. But since the beginning, focusing on software development around this fantastic BIM topic. 25 years ago, no one talked about BIM. It was, I don't know, object-oriented planning or whatever. And yeah, we work mainly for manufacturer, bigger designer companies, general contractors, and so on. Write software for nearly everything that has an API in the BIM world. So Revit, we have Forge, system integrator, accreditation, and so on. Full stack from very end to the front end. And as Dimitri already mentioned, we did some early tests and also applications with Speckle. One pretty cool project was for the Frankfurt trade show, the BIM booth in 2019 for the ISH. Yeah, and beside that, we work in different standardization organizations and try to push this thing a little bit forward. So, who is Dendrit?
Yeah, so let's come on. Thank you for your introduction, Tim. So my name is Manuel. I'm branch manager at Dendrit Software. And yeah, we are founded in 1988. Okay, it wasn't founded by me, so then I would only be 8 years. So okay, it's a long time ago, and but we were founded out of a project at the University of Münster for calculation of pipe networks, and yeah, after many years, we have been taken over by Kemper. It's a for people who don't know Kemper, it's a manufacturer of valves and hygiene systems, and so we are since 2010 a 100% subsidiary, and we are focused on technical calculation, as Dimitri already said. So our main thing with what we are creating is software for pipe network calculation, for sanitary, plumbing, heating, hydraulic balancing, heat load calculation, etc. And our clients are mainly designers, but also general contractors, installers, operators, and also manufacturers, because we have a different pricing model than other software houses outside, and so we have very tight connections to manufacturers. It's also caused by our connection to Kemper, but also with Gaborit, Velo, etc., etc. So, okay.
Yeah, so let's jump in. Fantastic topic, BIM content. I think everyone who's working with BIM projects, at some point in the project lifecycle, you have to deal with this discussion. Do you use BIM content, manufacturer-specific content, and so on? We don't want to talk about in detail now about this fantastic thing, because it's a topic itself, I think. But just as a sum up, the main problems we have if we talk about information, meta information and data, so not about geometry. So I will not raise this topic of LOG development over the different phases. That's another big thing. We talk about the eye in BIM, and we want to, I think it's already aware for everyone who has spent some time here. Just a small sample here. We have 2 doors. We put it generic. We don't want to put any manufacturer here in a bad position, though only to show the problems we have. So door 1 for company Schüco, for example, created from BIM content portal number 1 talk has a manufacturer property, and they have Schüco with Ü written, and they have a parameter article NB, which holds the article number and so on, but no price. And the same door from another portal works completely different from the information layer. So we have a German Hersteller, which is a manufacturer, article number completely written, but without dots, so the small details in there. The GTIN number is, don't know if you realize the difference. So on the left side, it's fully uppercase. On the left side, on the right side, it's mixed and so on. And we have a price, but in euro, and no conversation, and all these funny things that happen if we load stuff into our projects. And if you jump into details, now it's a Revit family we picked up, and as you can see.
on this example, you can see a common property salad, we call it. So there are hundreds of properties people put into the families just to transform all their data. The manufacturer already could provide, but then they are structured in a way that they are not comparable with other manufacturers, because this is one structure from one manufacturer, and the other manufacturer has a completely different property set, and so it's not possible to make assumptions or the tables. And what's even a very, very hard thing is that a lot of families or content put in hyperlinks, and these hyperlinks disappear over the time, and then they are everywhere dead links. And what originally should be provided that you can click on a family while facility management and operating is wasted, because the hyperlinks to manufacturer data for installing informations are gone or disappeared over the time, and so you have a lot of dead links and useless content.
Absolutely, yeah. And then the other discussion is the geometry. So yeah, I don't want to jump into this big discussion here, but what kind of geometry do we need? And especially if we transfer from generic to specific, do you really want to replace stuff? So we both more or less in the MEP area working all the day, and it's very complicated. So if I drop out and in a new family for a table which is connected to nothing than my room and maybe on the level, that's quite easy. But if I have families like the one on the right side with connectors, so they are part of a system, and I kick out something and replace it, which works differently, it's something, do you really want to do this? And what happens then in your project afterwards? So that's maybe the difficulty. Yeah, and so we thought about what could we do a little bit better. And yeah, so here Manuel can maybe explain a little bit the idea behind PDOD.
Yeah, so as I already mentioned, our focused area where we are developing software is the middle. It's calculation. So we are big with our studio software and Calhydra. And if you want to calculate a pipe network, you need a lot of product informations like SETA values, KVS values, characteristic lines, connector informations to create the correct stuff and all the fittings that you need for a pipe network, and to calculate a very exact and accurate pipe network with the real pressure loss and pressure drops over the system. And after calculating everything, we need also the information for tendering. So if you have a completely calculated network, you like to order it, put it into the tender process. So we need all the tender informations after that. So these are so we have a lot of information from our time right from the middle, from calculation, but it extended over the last years. So we have on the right side, for example, a plugin. It's called Generation. It's a plugin for Revit to model also three-dimensional stuff, and therefore we need to model it. We need again product information. So, and we have on the other side, on the left side, a little plugin written. It's to show informations to products in Revit, and yeah, again we need informations, and all these product as you see, the root for everything that we need is product data. So we created now you can switch to the to the next. We we created a mission. It's called PDOD. So PDOD stands for Product Data on Demand, and what we had in mind is that it should be a service that is accessible for everyone on the construction yard, from building owner to operator to the designer and also installer. And you need the information in all phases of the project and all stages of the project, from the design, calculation, tendering, construction. Yeah. If you want to go on further, then construction, even for facility management and repairing and processes over there. So we had from our history, we had good connection to manufacturer, and we shared the idea to create a service for all manufacturer with a standardized API for other softwares and services. And our aim is to have live information and know that could be connected to every geometric reference. So as a little structured picture over here, you see there is a kind of cloud service. It's the PDOD web service. And this service could be connected from our own website, the PDOD website. It could be connected by deep links we will see later on, and also from our software like the Dendrit Studio, Dendrit Generation, our PDOD plugin for Revit, and also on the Ekkodale service. And the product informations are put in from the manufacturer via their PIM system, and we have their standardized possibility for every manufacturer to import their data in our platform, and then we can provide it as a service.
Yeah. Well, do you want to continue here, or shall I?
Yeah, I can continue. So we were standing at the big question: what product information do we really need in a model or in a system? So do we need the tender information in the Revit model? Do we need characteristic line informations in the Revit model? Do we need it in the facility management later on? Or are these informations that are overdosed and not used in my common status? So we said, okay, do it the KISS way, keep it simple and stupid. The only thing that you need from a product is the manufacturer and the article number. With these two information, you're able to buy it. And if you are able to buy it on the market, you are also able to find further informations. And so our PDOD service creates a kind of key with the manufacturer and article number. And with this key, we can find every further product information later on. So we don't care if you put in a detailed model for this valve, for example, or if you put in a cube on the left side. We can put in two parameters, the manufacturer and the article number, and get on all further informations from our service on demand, live. Yeah.
Yep. So let's jump to the scenarios we promised. So we want to show a little bit how this can work in the reality. And so first of all, we have a small model here who missed the presentation on Tuesday about LIA, so I will not talk about in detail about what we do here in our platform. So please check out the recordings for that. So this model is the Revit guys will probably know it. It's taken from the Golden Nugget project. It's in the heating and heating and freshwater central in the basement. And yeah, we materialized it a little bit, and we will show you how this can be done. It's a combination of both products here. So first of all, maybe we should talk about normalization of information, which is, I think, the key for all the future stuff we want to do. So if we talk about machine learning or AI, if you have no structured data, you will not have fun with these things. And so it's the key for everything. Again, yeah, our session about LIA. Just as a short overview, we work in this system with so-called guidelines, so what you can define as the employer information requirement or BIM execution plan. So this I have on the door these parameters, and on the wall, in the face, in the use case, these parameters, who can access it, and so on. That's handled by the system. And we created a small guideline here. It's one of these tools we provide for defining classes, categories, property groups, and parameters. So in this case, on the right side, a number, and in this case is text, so it allows also characters and so on. But again, this is maybe something you can watch in the recording, just as a small sum up. And in this case, we have some groups of parameters on the right side. So you see this Hersteller opened here on the right side. Yeah, you see my cursor. Okay. And we have manufacturer and article number property here, which will be filled by the tools we use. And everything else is transferred from PDOD. So nothing more is in the model than these two parameters. What we additionally do, we separate model and information here. So we can link also models together, but that's maybe another discussion. And yeah, so how did we integrate PDOD into this system, which is running on top of Speckle? So all the models you see are pushed with the Speckle connector into Speckle, and we load it from Speckle and visualize it in the front end. So the PDOD integration is in this case done as an extension. So we use for viewing and browsing and so on the Forge viewer. Maybe you realize this button bar here, and here's a section we added as extensions, plugins for the Forge viewer. So we will step through this different stuff we can do here. So yeah, use case number one we want to show is how we can find product data and put it into our model. So hope this recording works. Yeah, seems so far. We are opening, that's in an iframe PDOD that's running here, and we can select and search for stuff. So Manuel will go more in detail what's possible here and how this search works in the background. And if you click OK, then the data is transferred on the left side into these parameters. So we have a generic model. As you can see here, we simply search for something. So the parameters are empty behind this dialog. And when you find your product, then it's injected into the model. Yeah, Manuel.
So the question is, how could we find products and what's possible? So first of all, our search is a faceted search. So you see only attributes to filter for what they all products have in common. So it's the same thing like you have on all the portals where our wives staff put their money in. So you see only shoe sizes for shoes and not if you have your trousers selected. So the same thing it's over here. So we have for example only setter values if you're on a pipe fittings, then you can see setter values, or nominal sizes are only able if you're in the products that could be put into pipes, for example, or flow parameters and things like that. All is classified and with product information, so like VDA 3805 classification, and we have all attributes that are defined in the VDI 3805 included in our search. So these are very, very detailed, and we have a lot of attributes, but these attributes are used also in our calculation. So we know that these attributes are not only attributes that someone thought about and put it into for commercial informations. So these are informations that you need for calculation, so that they are very high class. And what we also have as attributes is, for example, connected definition. So you can search for all products that have an inlet or outlet with this size and this connecting type, not only the size, also if it is welded, if it is a screw, if it is a press connector, or things like that. So you are able to search in every way you like to search, and the search is also over manufacturer. So if you just have in mind, for example, searching for a valve that have a stop valve in a special diameter, you put in, okay, I'm searching for valves, stop valve in size 25, and then you see, oh, this is possible to get this valves from Kemper, from Geberit, from Residio, etc., etc. So this is the way our search is working. It's not a tree-based search that is also common in most websites. So it's a search with from the side of parameter. Yeah.
Okay, so we searched for something and we found it, injected it into the model. So just a short next step. Then we have some viewer panel here integrated. So if you select an element, on the left side you see the parameters again, and on the right side you see the product data. And in this case, we will jump into more detail here, but you see tendering texts and stuff and so on connected to your model. So far, good. Yeah, another example. And linked, but we will go here in more in detail. Yeah, what product data
do we have?
Yes.
So yeah, we have a lot of product information that depends on manufacturer, how deep they are integrated. So it's, every manufacturer have the possibility to get more or less deep integrated. It depends on their membership in our business model. And so first of all, it's possible to support assortments and multi-language. So we saw in the page before that there was a flag on the right upper side. So it's possible to put in more than one language. So manufacturer is distributing in hundreds of countries, then it's possible to put all their languages in and to switch them on demand every time. So this is a big advantage. For example, if you look on the model and a team created it, it's all in German, and you want to see the information, you just change the flag to English. And if the manufacturer provided us the product information in English, then you see all the information in English. And it's also possible to support different assortments, because the manufacturer have different assortment for different countries caused by different regularities, and it's also possible to support this and to search in this cases. So for example, if you're in Netherlands or in UK, then you search, you can switch the assortment, and then you see only products that are available in your specific market. So next thing is we have tender information as a short and as a long description. You saw it in the video. Tim could scroll down very long for the long description in the pump. We have product picture. So a picture says more than 1,000 words, even if you people try to model as detailed in a Revit model that it looks like a picture, but you can put also 5 cylinders in and see it as a real picture from the manufacturer. We have all the technical data. The technical data, if they're integrated, are all searchable, what we saw in 2 slides before. It's possible to show characteristic lines, and they are dynamic. So if you put with your mouse over the characteristic line, you see in tooltip the flow speed, and the pressure drop. It's possible to put in documents. So we will see later in the presentation what's possible with documents. You can see videos and hyperlinks. Many manufacturers put in hyperlinks to their homepage. So if you're landing on the PDOD service, you can click show me this product in the website from the manufacturer. We can put in accessories, we will see later on in the process, and also successor information if the product is not produced any longer or stopped, then you can put in the successor informations, but we will see it also in a few slides.
And just to sum up, of course, you can do all these things also inside of a family, but the family is placed in the model, and it's quite hard to exchange this data. So, for example, what Manuel mentioned, you created the model in German language, but the installer is coming from Italy or Croatia or wherever, and they want to see it in their native language. No one will replace content in the BIM model directly to support different languages. The same for videos, links to the web page and stuff like that. So BIM projects run for years. The content you have loaded once is outdated, the link has changed, and all these things that happen. Though it doesn't make sense to put all this information into the model, because then it's not maintainable.
And to extend, the maintenance is done here by the manufacturer. So all these informations are put in by manufacturers.
Yeah. So yeah, next use case, we have materialized our model. By the way, which can be done from anyone who has access to this project 3D platform. So the installer, everyone can enter this information. It's not only the one who's sitting in front of the BIM software, though we democratize stuff here a little bit. Now we want to take bill of material out of this model. So that's the third button we integrated here. It's nothing fancy that happens, so just a download that happens. But the impact of that, as you can see here, unfortunately I can't stop this in the presentation here, it's across all manufacturers. So it's not only a bill of material manufacturer specific, only from one sanitary manufacturer or so. It is across all manufacturers and products here on an article level. And this data, it's a CSV, so you can read it into nearly any software, but we can jump to the next step. So now we are on the web page itself. So it's, by the way, everything we showed here as a user is totally free on this PDOD. And import the material list. As you can see, we have price here also. And then something very interesting happens. We attach the additional products that are needed for installation that are not modeled inside of the, in this case, Revit model. So that's a big issue you always have with bill of material, especially in the MEP sector. Not everything is modeled. We have a lot of spare parts and stuff that needs to be taken into account for all the tendering processes we will show later. But that's all done with this small CSV file. So in this case, all the manufacturer favor products will be added, and you see the increase immediately by 2,000 euro because of these additional parts.
These additional parts are all recommended by the manufacturer. So, for example, insulation caps, no one would model an insulation cap, or hangers could be modeled, but in many cases are not modeled, or for example, clamps or fittings that are really small, but you need for installation, or lock models, locking models, or even services like this one is that you need the service from the electrician that he put a cable to this machine, for example. So all these informations recommend accessories, and it could be created with one click.
And it could also work across manufacturers, if I'm right. So if you have a bath tube and you have some installation foam below, which is provided from another manufacturer, it's not only one manufacturer's view.
Right.
Yeah, so I think one big topic is this bill of material, especially in MEP, because from my experience, it works quite fine to get lists of material out of the models if you're in the non-MEP parts of the buildings, but these disciplines are quite heavy and complex, and yeah, this is one big use case. And the other one, of course, is how can we extract this data we collected into tendering formats to go to tendering processes and procurement.
Yeah, so we put in a functionality in in PDOD, and it's also available via service. So to take this list and export it as a CSV, so that you can import it in nearly every tender software, or the even better way to export as GAP or UGS. So GAP is common in Germany for the whole tendering process, to put in to put out the informations with the short and long text and price information, and the commodity groups and things like that. And UGS is often used to integrate the bill of material into an SAP system, for example. So there are a lot of customers that have changed SAP with a UGS import possibility. But this is the digital way to transform data. So you have just something to mail afterwards, or you can put the print button, and then you get an overview over all your parts that you have. And I just put in the first 4 pages. So you have complete offer with the retail prices from the manufacturer, and with all the information where you could, who's the manufacturer, telephone number, all information from the manufacturer, and then product picture and short and long description, article number, prices, assumption of price. Everything is in this report, and you can send it as a PDF for a pattern record to show your customer what you like to put in, for example, in this project.
Yeah, and then last transfer.
And then but if we go for the first thing with the informations to put out, then there is always the big question. Yeah, you put in manufacturer information, but we like to have it as a neutral information. So to just describe, for example, not I'd like to have a valve from Danfoss, I'd like to have a valve for heating, for example, with these and these specifications. And therefore, we have a possibility to transform the tender information from manufacturer specific to neutral. The way it works is you export it as an gap XML file, and this gap XML file is a little bit extended, that it could be read by the STLB BAU. It's a German process over there, and there it could be automatically referenced to the manufacturer product templates, and with this article number and manufacturer information, it's after this import, it's all neutralized. Then the Danfoss heating valve is changed to I need a thermal valve for a radiator in DN12, for example. So there's
which
a question.
is important for German processes, and I think also in many other countries where we have to differentiate in the tendering process and not support specific manufacturers. So use case number 5, maintenance. Though again, short movie. What we would like to show, though, if you have your BIM content in your project, but you can see this product you planned here is no longer available, which will happen in long-running projects at time. And though it's quite easy, though we have also this history for the products in the database. And so it's quite easy to shift this data and update it to get the products you planned also then later on the job site, so you can order these parts.
Yeah, very good point. Product history and product information. So as we showed till here, we are creating a key with a manufacturer and article number, so that enables us to create a perma deep link to all the products, and we have a concept for this product data history, and it's also possible, like Tim showed, that you see the successor. The successor could be also from another manufacturer. For example, if manufacturer lock down or stops to produce something, you can say, okay, this spatial area I put into another manufacturer, and if you need further products or replacement or things like that, then please take this product. And for example, with our manufacturer Camper, we have product information from 2012 till 2021, so 9 years of product information in the system, and so it's all from the past is also available. If you need the information of tender text and all these things, you could say, okay, I'd like to see not only available products, I'd like to see products from the past, and then search for a specific product and you'll find it.
Yeah, which is, by the way, as soon as you go to operation, definitely a use case, because something is installed, it will be broken, it needs to be replaced. And so I have the next product in the history that maybe replaced a phased out product. Yeah, and finally, documentation is a big topic. At the end, you have to deliver all these additional documents for the installed elements. in your project, not only because of BIM. And this is a lot of stuff, though here again, we have all these different file formats, documentation types, manual stuff like that, which can be downloaded with one click. And based on this material list we have shown before, you simply extract everything, press a button for download, and then you end up with a zip file, but with some additional nice functionality. So here, Manuel can give more details.
Okay, so there is one little short HTML overview to just where you have all your informations in, like a little list, and with a hyperlink to open the documents directly. And we have a CSV file also, and with the CSV file that is in the zip file, you can import it into facility management, for example, or any database process afterwards to automatically link the documents to the products in your database. So if you don't like to look on the information in real time and on demand with our service, you're able to capture the files on one specific date, download everything, put it into your facility management system, and then look on the documents in a then more or less offline mode. Right.
And which also supports CSV as the BIM transfer format number one, maybe can also be consumed by SAP and all these fancy products that run the product, the building in the after it's designed. Yeah, so far these are the use cases we wanted to show. One last thing, many of these things would not be possible if we don't have Speckle and Dimitri and his team. So yeah, thanks a lot because it's helping us to focus on our part and build it on top of everything.
No, I mean, that's why we do it, Tim. Thank you. So that you guys can actually untangle property salads.
Yes, with some fancy salad dressing. Yeah.
Yes. The PDODs and stuff. Like I will need to jump out. I just wanted to let you know you have a couple of questions from the audience. They're under the Q&A tab. And I think some of these, for example, you might have actually semi-answered them throughout your use cases, but maybe if you want to clarify more, please be my guests. Okay. Thank you for your presentation again.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
No problem.
Yeah, we will jump through the questions, and if you have other questions, put it in the chat or the Q&A. The Matthias, hi. Asked, are you managing the data or are the manufacturers managing the data themselves? Directly, yeah. So that's a question for Manuel.
Yeah. So the manufacturer is managing the data, but they are sending it to us, and we are validating all the stuff that, for example, if they just put in wrong column names or things like that, then they will get a feedback with a quality improvement, what they could change to make the product data better. But all the products are delivered by manufacturer.
Yep.
In the second case.
And maybe regarding the ERP system, of course, it depends on the manufacturer how fancy they are. If they have a ERP system that can provide all this data, which is definitely the plan for that, they should do it. So they can update regularly, every week, every day.
Yeah. And we after all the check, we deploy it then directly.
Then we have another question. What countries, regions are available in PDOD, and how many manufacturers are available?
Just wait. Just have to look at the moment. We have 7 languages, and assortments. We have 4, 5, 6, 10 assortments actually, and manufacturer. Just one click. We have 17 manufacturers already that they have who have already signed their contract, but on the acquisition list we have around 50 actually.
Yeah, and maybe one thing should mention is generic.
Yeah, and we have one manufacturer. It's called Neutral. It's kind of generic. So if people don't have the product information available, it's also possible for us to create a generic content. Then it's a neutral product, because then we don't have the rights to put in their product picture, for example, in the web. It's all a legal part why we did it this way. And then we can put it in as a neutral and write down it is like manufacturer XYZ. So.
Yep. Then we have a question from Thomas in the chat. If you're inserting products elements into Revit model as a family, what about the calculation of the systems? And is it still working? Or do you add just the 2 parameters to the families, manufacturer and article number, or is it not inserted into Revit at all? Yeah, it's at the end, it's up to you. Though with Leah, we can push back the parameters also into the model. Where we're working on together with Manuel is reading more of this information and pushing them also back, so that we not only read the article number and the manufacturer, but we can also read technical data because it's normalized on PDOD. So we get always the same information, and then we can also use PDOD like a model source and transfer it into the database and push it back into Revit if you want. On the other hand, I think all the calculations, more or less, if you talk about pipe network calculations, they are done outside of Revit normally, not directly in the system itself. All the software vendors that tell that they calculate directly in Revit do it at the end somewhere behind in their own system, but the data is transferred, I'm pretty sure. But it's up to you. If you want to have the data back in Revit, it's fine. If you want to have it separated, what we want to do more in the future, then it's also fine, and you can transfer the data. And that's also one big advantage of Speckle as a system. Under this stuff we do, everything is in there, so you can read it and do your own measurements, calculations, grouping, sorting, dashboarding, whatever. Okay. Yeah. If there are no other questions, hopefully everything is answered. Yes. Thomas says thanks. Fine. Cool. If you have more questions, then don't hesitate to contact us. And no more in the Q&A session. Yeah, seems we have covered everything.
Yeah.
So we are done then.
So
thanks for watching. And
thank you very much.
Enjoy the sun. It's coming out here in Germany. Yeah. See you soon. Bye.
See you soon. Bye-bye.